Hey, Trailblazers, this is Jason, your host of the Trailblazing Texas podcast. Before we jump into our latest episode, I've got some incredible news for you. Are you gearing up for your next big hike or backpacking trip? Well, we at Trailblazing Texas podcast have partnered up with Trekker Joe's, the ultimate Texas outfitter, to bring you something I feel absolutely special. Listeners, you of the Trailblazing Texas podcast can now get a one-time 15% off their gear purchases at Trekker Joe's. That's right. Whether you're a first-time customer at Trekker Joe's or a repeat customer like me, you can save big and hit the trails well prepared. So upon checkout, use code TTP15 to claim your 15% discount and in the process support an amazing local Texas business. So happy trails, and don't forget to tell your hiking buddies. Now on with the episode. Welcome to the Trailblazing Texas podcast, where we embark on a journey through our diverse Texas landscapes and breathtaking trails while always engaging with our amazing Texas hiking community. So settle in, tighten up those bootlaces, and get ready for the thrilling tales awaiting for you on this episode. Welcome to the Trailblazing Texas podcast. I'm your host, Jason. And today, I got to tell you, I love these episodes. And as a father of a young woman, having conversations like this where she can hear from women who are true examples of getting outdoors, living life, pushing beyond their comforts, showing strength are exactly the kind of episodes that I want her to hear, as well as getting this out to the podcast universe. So with that being said, Wanda, welcome to the podcast.
Hello. Hi, Jason. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So before we dive into everything about you and your outdoor experiences, I don't know if you've listened to any of the previous podcasts, but if you have, you know what's coming. We have the lightning round. These are questions that you have not seen.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. These are surprise questions. I promise, after reviewing them, they're not too difficult, maybe some. But don't worry, through the magic of edit, we're going to be flying through this. So are you ready?
I am. I think I am. Let's go.
Favorite trail snack?
Sneakers.
Where have you experienced the most beautiful sunrise or sunset?
Oh, Philman, New Mexico.
Boots or trail runners?
I would say lately trail runners. I used to be boots.
No, me too. And then we learned, right?
I know, right?
Favorite hiking season?
Fall.
Fall, yeah, me too. Actually, I'm a winter guy. I love winter.
I did winter one time, but I'm always cold. So fall. I'll go for the fall.
What is one word that describes how you feel when you step on trail?
Able. I would say able. It's the ability to know I did this, the knowing the capacity that I did this. So I would say able, capable of doing it, capable.
All right, day hikes or overnight backpacking trips?
Overnight backpacking trips.
Favorite piece of gear that you swear by?
Trekking poles.
What is one luxury item that you carry with you?
Fairy lights.
Okay.
Fairy lights.
All right. What is your most worn out piece of gear that you own?
Right now, my hiking shirt. I need new ones. It's the same one over and over and over.
Coffee on trail is a must or skip it?
Must.
First piece of gear that you've ever bought?
Backpack.
In your opinion, most overhyped piece of gear?
More overhype. Man, I just like them all. I can't. I'm trying to think. Let me see. I would say stove.
No.
Yes, just because there's very pricey ones, and the one that I've been using cost me only $20. That's probably why. Yeah, like those jet boils. No, yeah, I'm not a jet boil, so I would say probably that.
All right. I like it. I think I probably use the same one that you do. $20.
Yeah, that's all. I can always replace it.
Yep. All right. Pick your poison. Would you rather deal with bugs or blisters on trail?
Bugs.
Best campsite you've ever stayed at?
Oh gosh, that's hard to select. Okay, I will go with the last one on this Ozark Highland. We were right at the creek, and it was at the mark 111 on the Ozark Highland Trail. It was beautiful.
Nice. Coolest wildlife encounter on trail?
Bear, but from distance though. Very distant, very distant. So it was not really a big encounter. It was a very, very long distance. But to me, that's still exciting.
Hey, it's still cool, right?
Yeah, it is still cool. I can say I saw one. So
All right. What is the craziest weather you've ever hiked through?
storm, rainstorm, really bad.
All right. Longest trail you've ever completed?
Filmon with the Boy Scout, we did close to 100 miles.
So you're ready for the Lone Star hiking trail.
I think I am. I think I am.
I think so too. Coldest night you've ever camped out?
26 degrees.
Poof.
That was my winter. That did that my first time in the Ozark Highland. It was a winter one, and it was either 26 or 29 degrees, but right there.
All right. Would you rather hike in the mountains, desert, or forest?
Mountains.
Favorite Texas state park?
Favorite Texas state park. I love them so much, all of them. I was at Inks State Park. It's always stayed in my heart. They had that devil hole, so it's a beautiful park.
All right, Andrew, the interpretive ranger there. We got somebody on the podcast that your park's their favorite. I love it.
It's beautiful.
Oh, it is. It is for sure. So how long could you survive with only eating ramen and beef jerky?
Well, that's a hard one because I don't need neither one of them. I don't need none of that.
No.
No,
So you'd go down pretty quick.
I will go down pretty quick because if those are the only options, I'm dead. I'm out.
All right. So setting up your tent, would you rather be next to a snorer or someone that has a loud zipper?
Well, I snore too. I'll go with next to the snore one.
All right.
We can compete.
Yep, absolutely. Do you trust a hiker who doesn't like trail runners?
I would say yes because I was one of them.
All right. So the last two questions we're getting into some controversy. Well, at least the next question. If you get it wrong, we'll keep on going. I'll probably look a little sad. If you get it right, you'll get a thumbs up and we
Okay,
will
okay.
still keep on going. All right. Best for hydration, water bladder or water bottle?
Oh, bottle. Bottle.
To the listeners, she's getting the 2 thumbs up. Yes.
Yes. Whichever bottle you prefer, just a bottle.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. I hate hydration water bladders.
Not even for my day hikes.
All right. This next question, no one, I mean no one. We're into this will probably be episode 120. No one, well, I mean, I started asking this question about episode 80, and no one's got it wrong. So there's a lot of pressure on this. So are you ready for it?
Okay. Hit me with it.
All right. What is your favorite of all time Texas hiking podcast that you've been a guest on?
Come on, Trailblazers Texas podcast. There's nobody
Yes.
else better than you.
Oh, thank you.
I've
That
been a
warms my
fan of
heart.
you way before we even connected. I follow you for the longest, so yes, definitely.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. That right there makes
Oof,
the
I pass.
the out. Yeah, you passed, and the hours of editing podcasts, it makes it worth it now. So
Yes.
all right. So, as I kind of said in the intro, and now we kind of dive into the episode, I felt it of value to have you on the podcast because, again, I'm a father of a young daughter. There's so much negativity. There's so much crap out in our society that, having guests like you that that are getting outdoors, that are pushing themselves, that are not making excuses, to me is important. And so again, like I can't thank you enough for coming on the podcast. And I think that you will inspire a lot of listeners that anytime they're tired, they're not wanting to try something new, that they can come back and listen to this and get motivated and get off the couch or try something new or get outdoors. That you don't need to be a bazillionaire to do the lifestyle that we love, hiking and backpacking. And it's just get some shoes and get outside. So I'm excited for this episode. So first and foremost, and I don't know if it's public or something, but I definitely, if it is, that to allow or get the listeners connected to you, your social media, kind of the trips that you do, they can follow, or some of the inspiring things that you do. So if, I would like to give you this opportunity to, how our listeners can connect with you through whatever social media platforms, if it's okay with you.
Yes, thank you. Well, I'm in Instagram, and it's under Wanda C71. And I'm also I have a YouTube page. I don't keep up too much with it, but it's Wanda's Adventures. And I also have a TikTok. That's the one that I'm more active, and is also Wanda C71. Those are the main ones where I post my hiking and my activities and some fun stuff that I do.
Nice, nice. So to the listeners, get connected. You will not be disappointed. So I guess to kind of kick this off, probably the first logical question is, how long has the outdoors been a part of your life, and how long have you been hiking and backpacking?
Well, outdoors have always been part of my life. I've always been very physically active and doing things and walking, especially, I'm a mom. Well, my kids are grown now, but I have 3 children. So keeping them outside in physical activity was very important. So my husband and I, we started camping with our kids since the kids were about 2 to 3 years old, and keeping them outside and camping and hiking and geocaching and riding their bikes has always been part of what we've always did. But hiking and backpacking, I would say, started between 2017. So it's been quite a while. And my first backpacking trip was in 2019. And since then, it's just been part of my life. I've been enjoying the outdoors, and I just fell in love with backpacking. But it's been quite a while.
So let's pretend that myself and the listeners are interviewing you for a Trailblazing Texas podcast hiking ambassador. And I just want you to brag about no years and dates, but just if you could just kind of give the laundry list of all the kind of backpacking trips that you've taken, where, and maybe days out, and just brag about yourself a little bit.
So, as I mentioned, my first backpacking trip was in 2019. That was with Philmont Boy Scouts. And it was amazing. That was my first time. Since then, I've done probably close to 18 backpacking trips since then. That includes Guadalupe Peaks. Have to say it. I've done several sections of the Appalachian Trail, including North Carolina, Massachusetts. I did the Virginia Triple Crown, which that's the one that includes the McAfee Knob, Tinker Cliff, and Dragon Tooth. I've done. I'm in love with Arkansas. So Arkansas has been my main spot, and I've been doing the Ozark Highland Trail. I started at the Washington Trail, which I haven't finished because I discovered the Ozarks. I've done several backpacking trips here within the LBJ grass in Texas. Done a little bit of the Georgetown Goodwill Water Loop. I think that's what it's called. And let me see, I've done several. So yes, I would say close to 18 trips since then. And hiking, as many places, anything that looks like a trail, I'm going to hike
All right, I love
it.
it. So do you remember that first hike or backpacking trip that you made that made you think like, man, I've got to do more of this.
Oh gosh, yes. You know, although I did Filmon, I'm not going to count that one. And the reason is because Filmon is a very well organized organization and it's well planned. I took no part of the planning for that. The experience, yes, it's in my heart and I love it. And to me, it's the big one. But the one that makes me say, I want more of this, that was my first backpacking trip in the Appalachian Trail. And it was with my cousins, which I had to give them a shout out, Anita, Audrey, and Jeannie. Because if I don't say that, then they'll stop talking to me. Those are my cousins. And, we did North Carolina Appalachian Trail. And it was amazing, and it's a funny story behind it because I come from a large family. Let me just say my grandmother, my grandparents had 10 kids. Let me just start with that. So I have cousins of different ages and ranges, different places in the States. And during one funeral, sadly, my cousin comes and shows me her kitchen gear. And she said, "Hey, Wandy, that's my nickname. I'm gonna be hiking Appalachian Trail." And I'm looking at her like, is she just showing this me? I mean, she's not gonna invite me? And we did that trip, and sure enough, I kind of invited myself, or she invited me. I don't recall. But we did that trip and we planned it. And because it was the first thing that I planned, the first thing that we got lost, that we had no clue pretty much what we were doing, it's one of those trips, no matter how you try to recreate, you're never going to be able to recreate it. So I have that trip in my heart. It's like, I want more of this. After that, it's history. I became addicted.
If you kind of where you are now and just look back at all the hiking and backpacking that you've done, what does that give you?
I would say it gives me two things. It's a sense of peace that no matter what I do, I can't find anywhere else except when I'm there. When I'm there, I have this feeling and connection with nature that I just cannot put into words. And a sense of that, aside from that, it's the sense that I can believe I'm doing this. I cannot believe that I'm capable of doing this mile, putting this many pounds on my pack and carrying it and making it and walking alive out of this.
Yeah.
I think that sense of being able to accomplish that and do that. And while I'm doing that, walk out of there with like a clean soul, like a clean heart and mind and peace. It's just amazing.
Isn't it amazing?
It is. I wish I can give you specific words about it, but I just can't. It's just this sense that is just right here on my chest, on my heart, in my brain. It's and it lasts me for a while. And then I need to go for more. And I want more. And I want more.
Yep. And it's addicting, and I don't have the words either to explain it. And I wish I wish there were some words in some language that that people would understand, because I get asked all the time, why do you do that, why do you why this, why that, and you can't.
Yeah. Someone asked me the other day, why do I do it? And I said, because I can. And I think that's important to say, because I can. One day I'm not going to be able to. So let me just do it because I can.
Yep, absolutely. All right, your first overnight backpacking trip, what were your emotions leading up to it?
Oh my God, scared. We were scared. I mean, this is so funny because my tent was 5 pounds.
Oh
My
my god.
pack was about 3 pounds plus. I brought extra clothes. I did all the do not do in backpacking. I did them. And we were hit with a bad rain. I was soaked wet. It was one of those things that you just torture yourself, but you're happy and you're smiling and you're laughing and you're cussing and screaming in the woods. And at the end, you're like, okay, when is the next one? When are we
Yep.
planning the next one? But I think the best part of it was that I was with my cousins, and we kind of grew up together, but also ended up growing apart. Life takes you different places. So connecting with them was also one of the best part. And we've all gone through losses in different ways in life. So it was one of the things that we all had our own internal reasons to be there and doing it, and at the same time connecting it. But it was amazing. And, we did North Carolina. So we did from Hot Spring to Max Batch. And it's so funny because my cousin and Mita was like, why is everybody coming the opposite way? And I'm looking at my cousin, Audrey said, just don't tell her. Don't say it. Don't say it. And they were like, I don't understand. And she's cussing going all the way up, and we're cussing and we're taking breaks. And she's like, but why is everybody going the opposite direction? And I'm looking at, don't tell her. And at the end is we explain, we're going south and everybody usually go north because north is going downhill and we're going uphill. So it was like we did not want her to know the reasons why. But the beautiful part of it, which was that we finished in Max Patch. And to me, that was the rewarding of the trip. You ended up
Nice.
enjoying the beautiful 360, being able to see Tennessee and North Carolina mountains out.
Nice. So what is something that you've learned the hard way early on?
The hard way, I would say, hike your own hike.
Preach.
I mentioned to you, I started my first backpacking trip was with the Boy Scouts. So being a well-structured organization, it's about discipline, teamwork. You don't leave anybody behind. So that was kind of like put in my brain, in my mind, you don't leave the kids behind, and it's okay. So I'm a slow hiker. So I have one of my school friends from Puerto Rico. Once she started seeing that I was doing backpacking, Sulma, hi Sulma, she called me one day, said, can I just come and join you? And I said, sure. So she's done about 5 or 6 of my trips with me, and she flies. We said, wherever you go, just tell me, I'll go. And she's a fast hiker. And I have other friends that are fast hiker, not me. So whenever they were going ahead of me, I was getting frustrated. I was getting like, why are they leaving me behind? And that can create friction, but I've learned hike your own hike. It's okay. You have to go on your own pace and let it be and enjoy it. So I think that's one thing I would say for the last maybe 3 years or 2 years. I've learned to let go. It took me a while, but I've learned it because it's important.
Most of my hiking pals, they're in their 30s. I'm in my 50s. So they leave me behind all the time. And the only one, Cameron, in fact, his episodes, I think both of them just dropped a couple of weeks ago when we thru hiked the Lone Star Hiking Trail. He hikes about a 4-mile-per-hour pace. So he's flying down the trail, but that's his natural walk. And so what we do is he just hikes behind me because then we can stay together. Then I slow him down.
See, I'm short. I'm only 4'9". So, here's my little bitty steps, and they're just one step from them is about 5 of mine. So that's another reason why, that staying behind it. And it's not just because I'm stopping about 100 times to take pictures, or catch my breath, but it's also, I'm short. So I got short steps.
For me also, like I take a lot of pictures. I was looking the other day, I have 14,000 pictures just in the quads. And I don't like photography as in studying ISOs and all that. I just
Mhm.
like to take pictures. And so I guess that also helps, all my salmon hitting to be way ahead of me because I'm always stopping and taking pictures.
Yes, yes. Anything that's gonna be pretty, I'm stopping.
Yep, absolutely. I love this next question. And there are probably a lot of people out there that are on the fence to taking that step to whether it's their first hike or their first backpacking trip. What advice would you give give to someone that's considering this?
I will say just do it. If you think you need to be ready and get ready for it, you'll never get ready.
Never.
Because when it comes to hiking and backpacking, even if your gear is heavy, just go do it. You're just going to learn from there and grow from it, because it's not worth it trying to invest before even trying it. And then you're like, man, I hate this and I already spent X amount of money on this gear and I'm not going to use it. I would say just get out there, do it, experience it, live it, and enjoy it. There's the waiting part of it and to be ready. It's never going to happen. You'll get ready when you get there, and you will see what
Yeah.
areas you need to work on and decide whether this is something for you. The longest you wait, times fly. I'm at a stage of my life that time is more precious than ever. And so anything that I can get done and that I could do now, I'm going to do it. So don't think about it. Just hit the trail, get out there, do it, enjoy it. Now, don't go on a 2,000 mile on your first one. Don't do that. But, just start
Yeah.
hitting short trails.
You think about it, like probably anything that you get into, it's a journey. We're always like as much experience as you have, as much experience as I have, we're always learning.
Oh, yeah.
Always, yeah, and knowing your body, how you react in certain situations, the gear, pushing yourself, what you can. I mean, it's a never ending process, and if you're just waiting to take that first step, you're never going to be ready. It's a journey, and please make mistakes. Make big mistakes. Don't hike in the summer heat,
No.
but make mistakes. It's okay. We've all made mistakes. We all have funny. Hey, they always result in a funny story, right?
They always, and that's something you're going to be laughing afterwards. A lot of people also have the fear of, can I do this? I'll tell you this. I have plenty of fear. Ever since my first step, ever since my first backpacking trip, my biggest fear was like, can I do this? Am I going to slow down the boys? Are they going to end up having to aircraft me out of there?
Yeah,
Those fears exist. And to this day, they're not going to go away. But if I let those fears stop me from doing the things that I want to do, then I'll never do anything. I have to overcome them, put them on the side, and do my homework, do what I need to do to make it happen, and do it as safely as I can. So yeah, just do it. Hit the trail. Get out there.
I love it. So, how has your approach to hiking and backpacking changed over the years?
Oh, huge, huge. Before, it's not just about the passion. It's also a physical situation. I'm 54. I have back issues and I'm not young. So getting out there, carrying a gear, it's not easy. And I had to prepare my body. I used to think that um, hiking was enough for me and that my gym was the trail. And I used to say that, oh, my gym is the trail. And it's awesome. It is a beautiful gym. But ever since I was diagnosed with osteoporosis and osteopenia, which has been almost 2 years, it changed my perspective big time. And I realized that in order for me to continue doing this, I have to strengthen my body. I have to protect my bones. And the best way to do that is by building muscles. I'm not looking into being one of those, muscle builders with big muscles, but enough that can help me get in the trail. And so it's been a year and a half since that diagnosis, and I started it actually almost 2 years since the diagnosis, and a year and a half since I've been going to the gym and doing weightlifting. And my perspective about this have changed tremendously. The way I carry my pack, the way even walking fast, actually, it's amazing. It's been a big change for me at this stage of my life because I had to adapt to what my body can and cannot do. And I'm not 20 years old. So I have to look at if I want to continue doing this for whatever many years I have in front of me, I have to protect my body and make it as strong as possible to carry me to the next trail, take me to the
Mm,
next mountain, get me to the next adventure, and that's been the perspective that have changed, you know.
mm,
I think that's been the number one.
yeah. So, how important is it listening to your body today?
100%. 100%. That saying of no pain, no gain, it does not apply to me. If I'm in pain, I'm going to listen to my body. Is that going to stop me? No. What I'm going to do, I'm going to modify it and adapt to whatever I need to adapt. Ever since, I've done some investments in gear to help me light the weight, make it a lighter. And that also has been a great help. I said it's a combination. You start looking for what's going to work for you. And that's what I've been doing. I've been doing some research as to what are the things that I can do that can get me to the next adventure. A lighter gear definitely helps, but it's a financial investment. And thank God I was able to do it. But, it's more of work your body, listen to what it's telling you. It's like you are walking and you're starting feeling that hot spot on your feet. If you don't stop and fix it, what's going to happen? By the time you look, you already have a full blown developed blister. You need to stop, treat it before it get worse. And that's what I'm doing. I listen to my body, do what I need to do and move on.
So do you train or prepare for like specific trips, or you kind of just, you have this regiment and it kind of encompasses anything that you would want to do?
That's pretty much it. I don't train for something specifically. I have endurance. I do day hikes during the weekends, weather permits here in Texas. Um, so if I can hit the trail, I hit the trail. If not, then I go to the gym. I just do different routines, anything that works for me, depending on what's not hurting that day. So and make it happen. But specifically, I like to do some specific workouts for my legs, training my calf, training my back, my arms for carrying. I like to do farmer's carry. It helps to protect your core and trying to stabilize that core, especially carrying a 30. My pack last time was 30. Don't ask me why. I'm trying to
30?
get this. Yes, it was 30 pounds when 2 days before was about 26, 29. I don't know why I
Oh,
added. I don't know why I added to it. Probably extra water or something.
mm-hmm.
You know, I do workouts that I know that at the end is going to help me carry the pack. It's going to help me go up the hill, that mountain, and those steep mountains. Not every mountain has switchbacks. I used to hate switchbacks. I now I've come to appreciate them, especially when you're ready for that turn. You just take a good breath in there and then I go, here we go again. But when you hit mountains that are only steep, I need to work these legs, I need to make sure that they're strong and they're going to carry me. So I try to do workouts compensating with that.
Yeah, and I think that's where I'm at now in my hiking journey. I'm 53, and up until now, I always just, I hike with 30-year-olds, and I'm like, oh yeah, I could still keep up. And we do some pretty, okay, for me, pretty crazy stuff, and as it pertains to Texas, pretty crazy stuff. Like it's no snow traverses, or we're not doing Everest, but we've done a lot of cool things, and I'm starting to realize now that I need to get some kind of a weight program because, I can tell that I struggle a little bit more and a little bit more each trip. And so this is
Mhm.
something that it's hard for me to take that first step, but like you said earlier, just do it. So this is something that I'm going to have to really push
Yes.
myself to get going.
The way I see it, you can do anything that you can do, whatever it is. It doesn't necessarily need to be go on the gym. You can do it at home or do some rock climbing like I know you do. It's
Hmm.
doing things, anything that can help build your body, your strength, and see what your body's capable of. That's what you need to do. And if hitting the trail is all you can do or walk around your neighborhood, might as well do it. I think mobility is key, is life.
Yeah, yeah, for
That's the way
sure.
I see
For
it.
sure. Now that we've kind of talked about the physical aspect and what that means to you, hiking and backpacking and the weight training that you're doing, how do you mentally approach, like, if you know that you're going on a backpacking trip and it may be a little more difficult or, kind of tougher than what you're used to, how do you mentally prepare for that?
It's hard to prepare for that, because you can have an idea. And if I let my brain start thinking about it, then I start getting in that anticipated and anxiety mode. I try not to think about it. I just get there. Once I'm there, I still have those butterflies in my stomach. Oh my God, we're going to do this mountain. I try not to think about it and control it. But how I prepare is I'm always thinking about, okay, you know what? When we're done with this, I'm going to have this amazing meal waiting for me in camp and I'm going to enjoy this. And it's going to taste like the best
It
steak
does.
ever. Juicy steak. That's how it's going to taste. Or the best chocolate cake ever. That's how it's going to taste. While I'm hiking, I do take my breaks. There's a couple of things that I do when I'm doing that or long hikes or long mountains climbing. I start, counting steps. Sometimes I entertain myself. I mentally entertain myself. I count my steps. I see a tree and I said, okay, Wanda, you're going to hike to that tree. Just walk to that tree. When that tree, make it to the tree. Once you reach the tree, stop for a minute, then take another 50 steps. But I think the number one thing I do is that I look a lot in my far out and I'm always looking at my phone. And for me, seeing that I went from a point 0.5 to a point 0.3 in distance, it's amazing. It makes me feel like I'm getting there, which is why my friend changed my name to recently, because I tell my friend Barbara, we're almost there. And I tell my cousins, we're almost there, because I'm always looking at that. And they recently said, you know what, we need to change your trail name to Almost There. And that's because I'm like, okay, we're almost there. You see, we went from point 0.5 to point 0.3. We still have 2 more miles to go, but hey, that's something.
Yep.
So that's how I mentally cope with those type of long distance ones.
I think, like, for me, I struggle when it's just a monotony of hiking. Like, like doing the Lone Star Hiking Trail, and I'm usually out there on the trail every weekend doing sections of it, but just on the longer days, multi-day backpacking trip, if the scenery is just the same, I'm just like, and my wife every morning, she's like, hey, you want to go on a neighborhood hike? Or she calls it neighborhood hike. And I'm like, no, but I should. But I'm like, no, it's just like the monotony
It's
of
the
the
same.
houses. And yeah, so that's my struggle. And it is a struggle. I'm like, God, I just want to.
People say, well, most areas they look the same, and they do look the same a lot. Like my pictures, oh, you take the picture the same. It's not the same place. You see, this little rock was not on that other rock. That one makes it different. But I know what you're saying. They could be a little bit monotonous, because you're looking at especially the long trails, and you're like, okay, it's the same thing. That's where I do my counting. I count my steps. I'm looking like, okay, that tree or that rock, I'm gonna make it there. Or sing. You don't want to hear me singing, but do some singing in there, do
Yeah,
some out loud talking and chit chat if you have somebody,
yeah, yeah.
So definitely.
So I love this question. What keeps you confident on trail? It's got to be how much you prepare.
I think so. I think the confidence is the experience that I've gained throughout the years. At the beginning, that was one of the fears, not knowing what I was doing, which was also part of the fun. Right now, I think is the experience. Gear wise, I've nailed it. I think I've nailed my gear by this time. But what keeps me confident is I do more research. Nowadays there's more information. You can find Facebook pages. You can find TikTok videos, reviews of other people, or go on YouTube and research the area you're going to go. Back then, it was not as much as it is right now. It sounds like a gazillion years ago, but it wasn't. Come on. But still, back it was not as much. I think the outdoors, it's been more in social media than it was before. So now, because of that, you can find more information. So I think that helps me in being more confident. And I do my itinerary. I'm the planner. I do the itinerary, the organization, the time, the distance traveled, the many days. I do the shuttle information, whether we're going to need a shuttle one or not. I do the parking information, the research on Facebook, and then my friends, they show up.
Yep, that's me.
I don't know if it's because I'm just good at it or that's my controlling part of it, that control freak that I do that. I don't know. With my leadership skills, whatever it is, I love it. I like it. I do it. I do share with them and I ask them for feedback, and they do help, but I do a lot of research. Search the weather. How is it going to be? So I think the years of experience because I've gone through situations during those trips. Then by the next trip, I prepare a little bit more. Like in 2025, I did one of my trips at the Ozark Highland. There was a storm, and my GPS. I don't look into the weather in it, and sometimes you don't have that much signal, but I could tell there was a storm coming, and we're like, should we stay? Should we not stay? What are we gonna do? But our Guru Shuttle friend, Jancy, he messaged us and said, I advise you to get out of the trail and tell me where I can pick you up. So with that experience, although I hated the situation, we did it, we adapted. This time around, I was searching that weather like crazy. And
Yeah,
as you know, weather in the city is not the same thing as in the mountains. It's completely different. So I can ask my husband how's the weather, and whatever he tells me is not going to be the same.
yep,
So I try to do more research on what people think in that area. So yeah, research is part of the giving me the confidence and preparation to do this type of things.
nice. If you look kind of at today, what does a good day on trail look like for you now?
A day that I make it alive and that I don't break a bone.
Yep,
If we make it alive and I have all my pieces together, we're good. It was a good day, regardless of it, regardless whether we fell on the creek, regardless whether I dropped my trail mix on the floor, regardless of the whatever happened of the weather. As long as I made it, we're good.
so outside of weather, have you ever faced moments where you questioned either to yourself or to the group whether you should keep going?
Yes. Yes. It's been not just for me, but on two instances. There was one trip we did ended up quitting. And in this recent one, I was praying. We were praying. My friend got very dehydrated, very dehydrated. And where we were at, the only way out was pressing that SOS button. And it was not me, it was her, but I'm with her. And I look at her and said, the trail is going to be here. It's not going to go anywhere. Her safety, my safety is number one. And thank God, we made it we cut our day 2 miles short and it allowed her for recovery. And the next day she was fine, like nothing, she was ready to go. But it was a very humid day. And no matter how much she was drinking water, it was not helping her. So I questioned it. I was like, should we keep going? What should we do? Should we get out of here? That was one time. There was another time that was my attempt to do the Appalachian Trail and making it to the beginning, mile zero. And we ended up hiking, I think probably no more than 12 miles, I would say. And my cousin got sick. And we ended up spending 2 nights, one night, I can't remember, but we ended up having to get a ride back to our car and quit the trail. And the trail is going to be there. We need to make decisions and say, let's get out. We needed to get out, and we did.
So this is kind of a side question to that question. Do you ever run into a situation where you feel like your ego kind of gets in the way of the right decision? Because that happens to me a lot. Things are off the rails and you're like, let's just keep going. And because I don't want to quit or I don't want to, let me correct that. This used to be a big thing for me. Like we had a plan, we had a goal, an objective, and you could see that we're not going to make the objective, but I would still just try to push and push and push to try to make it. And my good friend John, I'm talking to him and complaining like, oh, blah, blah, whatever. And he's like, man, he goes, how boring would hiking and backpacking be if everything that you planned or all your objectives you always reached?
Mhm.
He goes, "Man, you need to focus on the journey, not so much
Yes.
the result." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, John, you're always right." But the early days, like my ego, we're in the quads and the wind's 40, 50 miles an hour, and I'm like, "No, no, come on, it'll stop."
No. No, it's I've been there. I've been there, especially when we ended up quitting that trip in Georgia and Appalachian Trail. I mean, we pay for the trip. We try travel. We had reservations in a hotel.
Yeah,
The plan was to be in the trail for 5 days and in a hotel only for 2. So we ended up having to switch that completely. So yeah, my ego was hurting, and I honestly even was telling my cousin, well, maybe we can make it to the next shelter and we can just do 2 nights in that shelter and stay there just to see how you feel. I honestly say that. And that was for a couple of reasons. One, I did not want it to quit, but two, I'm thinking, well, maybe it's not that serious. Maybe, it was food poisoning, and thinking she can get over it. That's how the ego can hit. But the reality is that I looked at her and I look at my cousins. I'm like, we need to get out. And as a group, we made that decision. And that's one of the things that I do like to do. We make decisions together. This is not my trip. This is not her trip or their trip. It's our trip together. If we're going to make a decision, we'll do it together. And I tried, and I tell them, don't let my ego get get you convince you otherwise. If you cannot make it or if you see I'm not making it, just say it, because being honest with each other is what's going to make us continue getting this together, done, doing it together. And yeah, it hurts, but the trail is going to be there no matter what. You
yeah,
can always come back, in this last time as well. I was telling Sugar, tell me what can I do? What do we need to do? If we need to cut it short, we need to cut it short. Hence, why in my plannings, which is one of the things that I learned to do, is accommodate an extra day. That's one thing I've learned to do. On my itineraries, on my planning, let's say, for example, we're going to do 100 miles. And then I'm going to divide that 100 miles per day, So we're going to do 5, 6, 7 days or 10 days. So I divided, I'm always going to leave an extra day for the just in case.
yeah,
And it had worked. It has worked. Recently, in this last one, we were short 2 miles. We ended up finishing Monday. We were supposed to finish Sunday and then depart Monday. So what we did, hey, we got Monday all day. So we finished Monday morning and depart Monday afternoon. So it
yeah.
worked.
Yeah, and I think it's really important what you said, and to the listeners that if you're in a group, you need to talk about these things when the hike doesn't go as planned, that there has to be a conversation and everybody has to feel that their input is of value and it is. It's how they feel. If they don't feel comfortable about something, they should be able to voice that, and everybody should take it as, yeah, okay, it's important that this is how they feel. Because I mean, how many times people get talked into or they don't speak up, and I don't know, like some of the stuff that we've done, the Free Holy Ridge at Guad, you're class 3 scrambling up this rock face, and we always were able to talk about it. Henning's like, because I'm afraid of heights, even though I rock climb. Like, hey, how do you feel about this? And, the wind's 30, 40 miles an hour. Him and Sam had probably no issues to do it. I was like, yeah, I don't know that I could do this. I don't feel comfortable with it. So we had a discussion and we bailed probably about a mile from finishing, a mile to get to McKittrick Ranger Station. Our alternative was sliding down a mountain on our butts, 3,000 feet almost. And so that was the bailout. But yeah, it was, I've never felt with them that I didn't have a voice. And, they're way more experienced than me. And yeah, what you said is so important, and that group dynamics to
It is.
to create an environment where everybody feels that they have a voice and there's a discussion. Yeah, I think that's awesome.
And it also helps that, next time I invite them to come with me, they can say yes. I definitely, want that. And, knowing because some things are unpredictable. I mentioned that I ended up having to bail out because of weather. If we would have stayed that area where we were planning to spend the night, it's a very area that gets overfloated really quick. So, you had to think the pros and cons, whether it's because of something physical, something mental, you had to have those conversations. And that's actually how I ended up experiencing once my first solo and only backpacking trip.
And that wraps up another exciting episode of the Trailblazing Texas podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode today, and stay tuned for our next episode where we will pick back up where we left off and guarantee to uncover many more hiking gems and share many more tips to enhance your experience on the trail. Until then, happy trails and happy hiking.